Hello Dennis, this is Ross. Let's take a look at this angle to begin with. What I want you to see is that this looks pretty good, and you've got the shaft going up your arm. Um, the, this foot needs to be back just a little bit further. In general, just move back a little bit more to get that ball a little more forward at first, because what I'm going to talk about is trying to get you to rotate a little better. Your elbows can be a little closer together if you can. They look a little bit apart. Now, as you start to take the club back, it looks like the front shoulder is doing its job. That looks really good right about there. Push back. Now, what's happening a little bit here is you're getting behind yourself a little bit. See how far your hands, and that's because these hips have over-rotated. You want to move those hips about half as much as you are. So get the shoulder going more right here. Keep the shoulder going and try to restrict. Let that club come straight back and up. But what I want to show you is where your big issue is going to be right here. When you get to the top of your swing and you start down, you start turning your hips right about here, but I want you to really look at the club and what it does. Right here you can see that you're starting to hit from the top down. You're really grabbing like you're pulling a rope, and you're pulling down right here with this hand, and this side is pulling this down, and the hips should be pulling it down. So you've got the top starting to take over. But watch right here. See the shaft, how it's bending? Watch how much it changes before I get right there. You can see how your right hand is taking the club from here to there in what we call a chop. It's a hand throw. And that whole thing, all this needs to be passive. The hands do nothing, and you unwind the knees, move the hips, move the chest and shoulders all the way to the finish. So you can see you have a classic, what they call reverse. Your weight is going to your back foot, and the hands are taking over to hit. You can see right here, this should be a straight line arm, club, ball. And right here, your hands have thrown the club through. And you can see your hips quit turning, that you're flat on this back foot. Your knees would be all the way around already. So you can see you're really sweeping and hitting at it from the top. And you can see your front foot slides back just a bit. We're going to fix all this. All right, let's go back to this one. And I want to show you here. This posture is pretty good. This could be a little higher and sit down just a little more, but it looks pretty good. Now, as you start back, that's pretty good with the club. Shoulders pushing. The toe could be more to 45. It's starting to come up a little bit, but this is very good. You've been working on that, I can tell. This needs to be down just a little bit, the toe. But right up here, you can see when you start down, right about there is where you start to throw. Right there. You're pulling it down from your shoulder with your hands. Your hands and this whole package, the hips need to pull you all the way around to the finish. Watch your hips stop. Right there, they're going to stop. And now the hands have totally taken over. And look where the club, look how the back foot is flat and the hips have just been stopped while all that goes through. This is very typical of many of my students as you learn to turn. You can see your arms are out in front of your body now, and your body still is pointing way over here. Your hips should have turned all the way through to the finish, and this back foot should be up on the toe. Now you have your arms pulling your body the rest of the way around. So essentially what you're going to want to work on is right here, as you start down with the hips, we're going to have the ball over more and your weight more on the front foot, and you're going to turn your hips and not let your hands take over right there. Just let the hips pull your arms and hands down. You want to feel like your hips pull your elbows back in front of your body, and the hips and core keep turning Right here you have to keep turning, turn, 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 turn. And that's what you have to work on. What you might want to do is get a club down on the ground between the ball and your feet, and you want to push that club straight back parallel to the club on the ground, and then you want to pull down, little shots, pull down with your hips, pulling your elbows back and front, and keep your hip rotation turning all the way until you're finished facing the target up on this back toe all the way. See the hands? We've got to get rid of that. The hands are pulled down, elbows are pulled down with the body rotation. Keep turning right here. But you want to play the ball with 60% of your weight way over on the front foot to learn that move.